Good evening. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. I'd first like to welcome my fellow board members. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair.
And good evening to our town manager, Mr. Scott Crabtree, and Meredith, our clerk, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, and those watching at home. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. The first item on the agenda is under correspondence. We have the SCTV budget. The board members should all have a copy of the budget. And Mr. Franco, are you going to be presenting this evening? Thank you. And I see the other board members there. And a shout out to Maureen Wickham, who is graduating from University of Lowell. Congratulations,
Yeah.
Maureen. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'm Bill Faringo. I'm the Vice President of the Saugus Cable TV Board of Directors, and I will be presenting our budget request for fiscal year 27. So overall, we have spent a lot of time working on our budget, trying to make expenses match revenues, because that's the name of the game here. The bottom line number for our FY27 budget is $351,000. If you look at the cover page, it should break this down for you by salaries and operating expenses. In addition, we're looking to do a state of good repair capital improvement plan of about $30,000 this year. We feel that this budget represents, it's a significant decrease from last year, but it gives us the opportunity to lay a foundation to continue providing the services that the town has come accustomed to, while we work with the Board of Selectmen and Comcast on ways to increase revenue, adjust our the language in our contracts, and provide us some opportunities to introduce new revenue streams to help support community television. Does any of the members have any questions?
Well, Mr. Faringo, I know that you've worked very, very hard with the SCTV board members. This is a far cry from the first budget that you shared with me, and I know you've been all going back to the drawing board, and it is important that our revenues equal expenses, just like you said. Do board members have any questions?
Madam Chair.
Selectman Ciccolini.
First, I want to thank you and the rest of the board and leadership for, I know some tough decisions had to be made. Obviously, the environment we're in, it's going to be interesting to see how, going forward, the next contract, how it will look. I did hear some rumors through the grapevine that there might be some streaming fees and things that might pass through to communities, which might give us a little breath of fresh air if that does happen, where we know cable subscriptions are on the downswing, but we also know that doing streaming is has become the craze. So if there is some potential revenue sharing in the future, that could lead to at least stabilizing the revenue so that they've been on a downward spiral with subscriptions being down. But that being said, the other thing I wanted to just ask is, did you end up getting a quote on the annual audit?
Yes.
You did?
We've gotten 2 quotes from different firms. We're going to talk to both of them just to make sure that we're getting the appropriate services.
You were able to get the price down to what's around the budget number that you have?
We'll find somebody who will do it for the budget number.
Okay, great. Yeah, and the other thing that I just wanted for the board's position, what would have been helpful, I saw the listing of all the capital repairs items that you wanted to do. You haven't got any bids on that stuff yet, because there's a ton of stuff listed that you wanted done.
So we had some outdated quotes, and that's the problem. They were well over 90 days old. So our plan is, as a board, is to talk to some contractors and vendors, multiples, to see who can sort of bundle the services and give us sort of the best price.
So I do support the money. I'm all about the maintaining the major investment that was made to make that facility what it is today and not have it fall into disrepair. What I would advise is that you try to prioritize these, because I think you got over $30,000 worth of
Yes.
repairs here, and then maybe come up with like a 2-year plan to try to attack them. I mean, there was fence things that sounds more like a safety thing. You want to get that stuff done. Water
Correct.
leaks, you want to try to get that stuff done. Other stuff might be a little bit more preventative maintenance that you can push into the following year. But I definitely support all the work that you did to get us here, the entire board, and I support the additional $30,000 as well.
Thank you. That's sort of our plan, is to kind of be upfront with the Board of Selectmen and say, look, this is what we know of. It's probably going to be a multi-year task.
One last thing, I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, but was there any surplus carried over from last year? Was there unspent?
We think
surplus?
there's going to be minimal.
I usually check with Wendy, so she knows what the transfers were, but we should quantify what that amount was.
Yeah, we're expecting somewhere between 3,000 and 7,000, depending on what gets billed and can get completed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Selectman Chicalini. Any other questions?
Madam
Comments?
Chair,
Selectman Sereno.
yeah, I want to thank everybody on the board for their hard work and yourself. I support the budget, but how much funds do you have left in the capital fund?
Would that be the PEG account, or is that?
Yeah, and the PEG access, the
Yeah.
one the town has.
So, I have it here, and you'll have to forgive me. There's a significant amount of money in the PEG account, I
Yeah, because
believe.
that 30,000 is
Yeah.
carried over
Yeah.
every year.
It appears to be, oh, you know what, I don't have that. I can find out for you, but it is a significant amount.
Because I believe there used to be maybe about 900,000 in there.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Okay, the only.
And then they did the build out, and they still had
Quite a bit.
Correct.
quite a bit. 900,000 was left at that point.
That's my understanding, is it's north of
Yeah,
900,000.
so I don't see an issue, and I would even go one step further. This list doesn't really look like a wish list. It looks like things that need to be addressed. I would even suggest get a price to deal with everything,
Okay.
and then see what that looks like, and maybe come back and consider an additional appropriation. Only because I get nervous whenever I read anything water leaks and stuff like that. You have a beautiful new building over there.
Yep.
And you could deal with mold, you could deal with other things which will cost 10
Correct.
times more.
You don't know what you're going to find until you.
So
get
it
in
may
there.
make sense just to have a contractor come in. I bet you one contractor might be able to do a bunch of these jobs and see what they give you for one price, and see if it's over 30, maybe come back.
No, that's great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Just one follow-up question. On the capital funds that you have, they're in CDs? Are you gaining any interest on that money?
They're in the PEG Act, they're held in the towns.
And that's it? You
Yeah.
can't invest them?
I mean, if
Can they
you want to
invest
write
them
me a
in
check, I will.
CDs?
That's a question for Scott, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, Mr. Manager, can PEG Access invest, they have close to $1 million in that fund. Can they invest them in a CD?
I'd
Is that
have to look into
allowable?
it, but I believe anything that the town, holds, it's the town's money that's in there. It's the agreement, so that everybody's clear. The agreement is between the town and the Board of Selectmen with the cable company. So the money's given to them. The board votes and is hired the nonprofit to run the cable. So the money's held in the town's things, and I think that my guess would be, and I could confirm it, but the money that's held in any of the town things has limited ability to invest. So you can invest in certain things, but it's monies that you can't just start going into the stock market. So there's certain restrictions on the investments that you can invest in that are limited. But everything is usually invested to what you can. What the town does. We get quite a bit of money in investment money.
Okay, the reason why I asked is, I know we're using about 30,000 every year in capital funds, and sooner or later we're gonna run out of that. That's the only thing I'm leery about, and that's why I asked if you could invest that money to, keep that fund up.
Yeah, I think as the town manager said, we're limited to what those funds can can be
This is
used
actually
for.
the first time since you built the studio. I don't think we've
That is
had
correct.
a appropriation on the capital side in several years. They did a one-time appropriation when they upgraded
Right.
some of the equipment, but I don't recall us usually appropriating the 30,000. Do you, Deb? Madam Chair?
No, last year they wanted to use that in their
For operating,
operating, and we said you couldn't do that.
Correct.
Correct.
But as my fellow selectmen mentioned, the balance in the enterprise fund at the end of March was $1,103,185, less Q3 and Q4, the budget payments, leaving a balance of $920,035 plus or minus revenue remaining for the fiscal year. So I was prepared for that question for this evening because I asked Wendy Hatch. So as my fellow selectmen said, if you use your 30,000, you prioritize, you do what you need to do, you go to bid, what have you. If you do need additional monies, one-time, non-recurring funds, you can come back to us because there is additional money. Secondly, and more importantly, we need to be working with Ira Dorfman, not Dorfman, I'm sorry, Zelnick, I can't say his name correctly, our special counsel, how do you say it? Zelesnik, thank you very much. I should know that after all these years. In terms of renewing the Comcast contract, I know that you were in touch with him, Mr. Town Manager, and is he looking at it now?
Yeah, so he's aware of what you've asked for him to do, and he's willing to do that. Just, he wants to get a little bit of direction with it, so we can, if you want to set up.
I can't even hear you, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Is that on?
Yes, is that better? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I've been in contact with him after speaking with you, and I think, might be helpful is to have a call, and so they can give him direction on what you would like him to do.
That'll be great, because January 2027 is right around the corner, and we really need to start working on that contract with Comcast. And then we have to work on the new agreement with SCTV and review your bylaws. So a couple of us should be working with the SCTV board and then coming back to the full board and talk about any changes we want to make within the next 5 to 10 years.
No, that sounds great. We look forward to working with the board on that. There is some language that we think we can work together to help us become more efficient, and we're never going to be self-sufficient, but provide us with the ability to create some interesting revenue streams and make sure that gets brought back into our operating budget and things like that. So
Excellent.
we have some interesting ideas.
Madam Chairman,
Selectman Cogliano?
just a question to the manager. Is it possible we can use some of the cable money to fix this system in the town hall? I think I bring it up because Frank and I were at a meeting at Revere City Hall the other night, and it's like being spoiled.
Right.
Sound system in there is impeccable.
Yeah, we can look at, we've had actually some people look at the system here in general, and with some of the ideas, we can revisit it, but they wanted to put rugs and things on the walls and everything, and it just didn't seem like the best thing. So we're trying to get like somebody that's more like deals with like acoustics, somebody like if you're going to have a concert or a play here or something.
Yeah.
How do you need that? It's a different type of expert that would help. I think maybe putting surround sound or something in here. So we can continue to look into that. I know we did have a couple of contractors come up that deal with sound in these type of environments, but it's more of, as you know, like at the new high school, middle high school, there's all these different acoustics types setups that they do that are different than an old auditorium like this.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Selectman Federico?
just in regards to some of the capital improvements, first off, is the building insured by the town, or does it carry its own insurance policy, or?
So the building itself is not part of the town.
Okay.
So the building is not the town's, and it's in their use of it, they have a separate lease
Yeah.
with the owners of the building.
Which is the Historical Society.
Which is the Historical Society, which is not a town entity.
So some of these repairs would typically qualify for insurance repairs, such as like the water damage if there's any mold due to the water damage, mold mitigation, things of that nature. Have we looked at that avenue, that we wouldn't be pulling out of the capital improvements and maybe put it on the shoulders of the insurance company?
So we can certainly take a look at that. It's going to increase our insurance premiums anytime you file a claim. What we've found is, and listen, for those of you who don't know me, I'm a big believer in we are where we are, and we're in this hole, and it doesn't matter how we got here, but the reality is we got here because of some bad choices made years ago. And what we're trying to do is stop the bleeding and dig out of the hole. Sure, we can probably call the insurance company. We didn't make a claim at the time. We can't really identify when it happened. Could have been 3 years ago. We just don't know.
I'm thinking more along like the ice dams. You may be able to tie those to this winter, obviously, but I think the first step maybe is get, as I think Selectman, did Jeff? Yeah. Selectman Ciccolini say, get the estimates first. I'm sorry, when they speak, I can't hear them pretty much at all. Get the estimates first and see if it is something maybe potentially going through insurance would benefit, as opposed to coming out of pocket for it, maybe able to reallocate funds for some of the additional work on the list.
We appreciate all the insight, and we'll definitely look at that. I love the idea of having somebody come in and kind of give the building a once-over, so we kind of know what we're not thinking of.
Madam Chair, through you.
Sure, Mr. Town Manager.
So do you know, do you carry insurance for the building, or is it you sort of have a interior renter insurance, or?
You know, off the top of my head, I don't know if is our insurance?
Well, we can talk offline, but you know
Yeah,
what I mean, I think that's, just to try to figure that out.
I'll get the answer for you. I know we pay significant premiums, but it's unclear if it's strictly for our part of the building, if it's the whole building.
Yeah, I did think it was the whole building
Getting-
when they were negotiating it.
It's a strange arrangement, seeing as how it's not our
Because the
building.
lease didn't really didn't call for technically rent.
Yeah.
But SCTV is on the hook for the majority of the operating costs that occur, including the liability insurance that exists. You know, they wouldn't split it into two policies.
Okay.
So I do remember that.
In lieu of rent.
So in lieu of rent, all right.
5.
All right, so would one of my fellow board members like to make a motion?
Madam Chair.
Selectman Ciccolini.
I will make a motion that we approve the budget request for fiscal year 2027 as presented by Mr. Faringo, which basically specifies a total operating expense budget of $351,000, broken down mostly salaries and related expenses of $270,500, and then other operations expenses totaling $80,500. Broken down administrative, 43.7, computer, internet, and subscription, 16.6, maintenance, building, equipment, and repairs, 5,700, and facility utilities, 14,500. In addition to that, I would recommend that we approve a $30,000 allocation for capital improvements based on the list that's been identified. Might have to come back to us. As Selectman Federico said, they can also explore potentially an insurance claim to some of this damage, obviously, could be covered. I know there's a deductible, and it's probably a good-sized deductible, but still, it's definitely worth exploring if that could save money. And also, if we approve this, it would be paid in quarterly installments at the discretion of the collector-treasurer, as we do every year.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Ciccolini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. If you can just indulge me for 30 seconds, I want to take this opportunity to thank you guys for your work in trying to help us sort of level set everything. I also want to let you know that we do have dedicated staff over there that are very committed to turning SCTV into what we all want it to be, which is a premier community public access station. They have undergone some personal sacrifices trying to help us make this work. The the board, my fellow board members, I mean, poor Darren comes to every meeting and fixes something. It's quite remarkable. I hear the stories of previous boards and friction and conflict and all these things, and I feel like with this Board of Selectmen and the town manager and this Board of Directors for the station, I hope we can put all that behind us, and we look forward to working with you to do what's in the best interests of Saugus. So I want to thank you all for helping me through this process. So.
Well, we want to thank
Thank
you
you.
and
Thank
thank the board. I appreciate that Mark is here, Carla, Maureen, who's sitting else back there, and of course Darren. Thank you all for coming this evening.
And if you
Thank you.
need my expertise on checking the sound system here, let me know. I'm around.
Excellent.
Have a
Thank
good
you all.
night.
The next item on the agenda is traffic, Martin Street traffic concerns. Selectman Vice Chair Cogliano asked to put this on the agenda as a follow-up to a meeting that we had back in September 2025 when there were a few folks that came up and discussed issues regarding Martin Street. On Friday, April 10th of this year, we received an email from Lieutenant R. Connors. He said, "Good morning, all. After speaking with the chief, he has no objection to posting the signage to limit access to Martin Street during the morning drop-off for school. This may inconvenience the residents as they may likewise not be able to get down the street during the one-way hours." Is there anyone here this evening from Martin Street? Selectman Cogliano, would you like to say a few words?
Well, I would certainly like to hear from the residents who are not here tonight, because I know with these issues, we're never going to make everybody happy. You know, if you live on one end of the street, you're not going to want the one end going that way. I was hoping that they would be here so we could resolve this issue tonight, but doesn't look like anyone showed up.
Madam
So-
Chair?
Selectman Ciccolini?
I don't think they thought it was going to be probably posted for tonight in reality, but one of the residents who lives on the street, Mr. Alcott, had reached out and talked about, is there a possibility to have a do not enter except for residents? And I don't think we do that
You can't do that.
because you can't really police it.
Right.
So, but I do think that we should advertise it as suggested by the police. And then if the residents come and say, no, we don't want it, then that's but we should at least get the wheels motion. They asked for one-way traffic, one-way flow. It seemed like they had support for that on the street. There were several people asking for it. The police department approved, the recommendation and said they'd go with it. I say we advertise it as such. It's a public hearing. People can come speak for or against, and we'll have to make a decision at that time.
Okay, so a couple things. One, Selectman Cogliano did mention when the Martin Street residents were here at the last meeting that he asked if we could put this on the agenda. But I agree with you that why don't we have the information now, let's advertise for a hearing. If we could reach out to the Martin Street residents, but we need to know exactly what it is they're looking for. What hours are we making this a one-way street from in the morning and in the afternoon? How would you like me to advertise this?
I would say we go with the same hours we have at the high school.
Yeah. I
2
agree.
hours in the morning and 2 hours in the
And it's a
afternoon.
reverse. It's a one-way coming off. It's a one-way coming off of Central Street onto Martin, or onto that street in the morning,
Yep.
and then it's a one-way going the other way. You can't cut through from Denver Street
Right.
on the other. So basically, you only can in the morning. You only can come in from Denver Street, and in the afternoon, you can only come in from Central Street.
Correct.
Madam Chair?
Selectman Federico?
Could I understand that our board is, the traffic commissioners, but in the spirit of collaboration, can we also get some input from the school committee too? Because these changes that we're presenting, and I've done work on Centennial, and I've seen firsthand the amount of traffic that flows through there. It's definitely an issue. But rerouting that much traffic could have a major impact on the school. I just want to make sure we're not exacerbating another problem or making it worse. So I'd kind of like to see what the school committee or school admin says for a drop-off and pickup in addition to that.
Well, we have, is Dennis School in the audience?
Yeah, yeah.
Dennis, what are your thoughts? Would you mind, I am sorry, I'm putting you on the spot.
He operates good under pressure.
I'm flexible. Nobody approached me on Martin Street, but I'd be glad to look at it with you guys to see if there's something that we can collaborate on and see how it fits in with the school. I've been only working on the Dow Street, as you see tonight, and Pierce Memorial, but the whole area could take a total review. We do have SAFE doing a review. We're supposed to get a report, and I don't know when that is, but it's not too long, on the whole area. So maybe we should wait for that report and see what that says, and then if there's nothing there, maybe we collaborate and do our own site surveys.
And when is your next school committee meeting?
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday? Would you mind bringing this up at your committee meeting?
No. Yeah, no.
So does the board want to wait until we hear back from the school committee? Or do you want to advertise it and have a hearing?
I think
I'll go with what,
I think we can advertise it. I just would like to make sure that we're not making a bigger problem elsewhere.
but if we advertise it, we have to say what what our proposed change is, whereas
That's
the
correct.
schools might have different
So
input.
if we advertise it now, they'll know what our changes are gonna be for their next meeting, they can discuss it.
I think we hold off on advertising, let them discuss it, and we come up collaboratively with what to advertise.
Madam
If we're
Chairman,
gonna get their input, we might as well
We could wait a few
not
weeks.
advertise and then withdraw.
Madam
Okay,
Chairman,
we'll wait a few weeks. We'll hear what you have to say.
Madam
at the-
Chairman,
Oh, I'm sorry, Selectman
that's all
Sereno.
right. Can we advertise it without putting hours on? So we can be flexible? I don't
We
know.
really should have in the
Yeah.
advertising what
Okay.
we're going to do.
Okay.
Can
I
you,
didn't hear you.
can one of you forward me whatever your recommendation was going to be so I can share it with the school committee?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gould.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you, Selectman Cogliano and the rest of the board. The next item on the agenda is traffic on Franklin Street, because there were some traffic concerns. We had one of the members who lives on, one of the residents who lives on Long Place, Rosaria Sereno, she could not attend this evening, but she wanted to ensure that the neighborhood's concerns and strong support are formally provided for your consideration. The change is important to address ongoing traffic issues, and she respectfully requests approval of the proposal, and she's looking for a one-way street. I'm submitting an executed petition in support of converting Long Place to Franklin Street into a one-way from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday for just that 1 hour. And it looks like Lieutenant Connors does not have an issue with that, if that's what the neighbors want. Is there anyone here from Franklin Street who'd like to speak? Seeing none, we could, if the board would like, we could advertise for this, addressing, because we know exactly what it is they're looking for, and we could take this up at our next meeting.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Okay. And that's seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Cogliano's motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I did speak with Ms. Sereno earlier today. I'll call her back and tell her this will be on the next agenda. It is now time for our first citizens' comments. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board? Seeing none, we're going to move on to our first public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Saugus Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing for a special permit on the request of owner Matthew Satara, 23 Cadbury Road, Linfield, Mass. 01940, to allow tattooing at 184 Broadway, Unit 1, Saugus, Mass. Name of business, Staha LLC, doing business as Mind's Eye Tattoo Company. This public hearing will be held at the Saugus Town Hall Auditorium, Saugus, Mass. on April 21st, 2026 at 7:00 p.m. Hi, if you would please come to the podium and give us your name and address, please, and tell us a little bit about your business.
Hi, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Matt Stahura, and I live at 23 Canterbury Road in Linfield, Mass. My company, Mind's Eye Tattoo Company, will provide custom tattoo services, primarily by appointment, but with some limited walk-in availability. The studio will operate in a clean and controlled environment, will comply with all local, state, and public health regulations as they apply to body art establishments. The location itself was previously a tattoo studio for many years, and so this will basically be a continuation of the established use with no real significant change to the facility or to the nature of the business. In addition to the tattoo services, I just plan to offer a small selection of related retail items such as artwork, prints, apparel, aftercare, and tattoo-related merchandise. And let's see. Other than that, I've been tattooing for 23 years, and it is, my goal to operate a professional and respectful, sanitary and responsibly managed studio that reflects well on the town. And I also want to say that, I love tattooing, and I am, given the opportunity regularly to interact with all walks of life. And since it is such a deeply transformative process and it changes people in many ways, I know that many of my clients walk away seeing themselves in a new light, and I am, grateful to have those opportunities and be given the trust to do that work. So, because of this, I hold the quality of my tattooing and those of my artists, as well as, our interactions with and collaborations with clients to a very high standard. And I really look forward to providing that service in Saugus. So, if you have any
Thank you.
questions.
The only recommendations I see right now is from the fire department, you need to have a life safety walkthrough. And from the Board of Health, they said that the applicant, along with any additional artists at the site, will require a body art practitioner's permit. Do you have one of those?
I don't have it yet. I was told to complete my hearing process and then get the business certificate and then begin the application process for that. So.
Okay, so you'll have to have that. And the establishment will need to be licensed as a body art facility with the health department.
Yeah, and I plan to submit all of that paperwork starting tomorrow. So.
Okay. And your hours of operation, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday?
That's correct.
Okay. And you're not going to do any piercing?
No, not at this time.
Very good. Board members have any questions? Board members have any questions? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak either in favor or opposed to this application? Would somebody please make a motion to close the public hearing?
Madam Chair,
Selectman Chicalini.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Chicalini's motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Selectman Chicalini.
Madam Chair, before I propose a motion, I just had a question. This was previously a tattoo place. So my question, the S2 permit is already in existence for this location. There's already a tattoo permit for this location. So we advertised it as, you couldn't find one? Interesting. Okay. So,
We'll vote it as an S2.
yeah, so we're going to vote it as an S2.
Yes.
All right.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. Town Manager.
Yeah, so in case you can't find it and there's one been voted, in other words, if you research it, maybe make a motion in, like if there
That if
was,
there
if
is
there
one-
isn't one in existence, then you're
Yeah.
taking a vote to it. That
Yeah,
way
we
you
don't want to have two special
duplicate
permits
it.
out there for the same
Correct.
thing on the same property.
Would
All
you,
right.
No, we do not.
Madam Chair,
Select Mr. Reno.
thank you. Would you need a transfer if there was one, if they did have one?
No.
No, it would just be, was that where Clarice used to be?
What?
Is that where Clarice used to be?
I don't know. Who was there before?
It was Light Wave Tattoo?
Lightwave.
Lightwave,
Lightwave.
okay.
tattoo.
I don't know, though.
Okay. So I will make a motion that we grant the special permit S2 on the request of owner Matthew Stahura.
That's correct.
Great. 23 Canterbury Road, Linfield, Mass. To allow tattooing at 184 Broadway, Unit 1, Saugus. Name of the business will be Staha LLC, DBA Mind's Eye Tattoo, Inc. Hours of operation, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m., 6 p.m. on Sunday. And also will include the sale of other incidentals such as artwork, prints, apparel, and aftercare. And on top of that, this making sure that everybody has their body art practitioner's permit and be licensed as a body art facility with the health department, and as well as a safety walkthrough by the fire department.
And that's seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of Selectman Ciccolini's
Oh,
motion?
wait a minute.
It's an S2 permit. Yes, hon.
I'm actually going to add to that. I almost forgot what the manager said. I'm going to add the contingency that if there is already an S2 permit granted for that previous location, that this would be null and void.
Very good, and that's seconded by the chair. Now, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations. Welcome to Saugus.
Congratulations.
So-
Thank you so
Great.
much.
So
Good-
how long
good
do you
luck.
think it's going to take for you to get your permitting and be open?
It depends on the inspection schedules. I'm assuming somewhere between 3 and 5 weeks, so mid-May to beginning of June. is my-
Good luck to you.
Good
Thank you
luck.
so much.
Have a nice
Best of
night.
luck.
It's time for our second public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Saugus Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing under the town traffic rules and regulations to establish a no parking zone, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday, on Dow Street from Denver Street to the entrance of the teachers' parking lot on the east side. This hearing will be held in the Saugus Town Hall, second floor auditorium, April 21st, 2026, at 7:05 p.m. Good evening, Mr. Gould.
Good evening, Chairman. Yes, come before you, I had a call from Mr. Blair, the principal of Belmonte, and superintendent. They wanted me to look at Dow Street, not only for the parking, but there's another hearing right after this on the yield sign, left sign on Dow Street. If you look at the parking situation down on Dow in the afternoon, if you park on both sides, it's very hard to get traffic in and out of that Dow Street. There's only a couple houses on the side that we're talking about putting the no parking signs. We're trying not to be intrusive of their area, so that's why it's only 12 to 3, Monday through Friday. So that keeps people away from there, so the traffic will not be a pinch point, a choke point coming out of the school and going left towards Denver. So that's what that is about.
Okay. And I see that the school committee voted 5-0 to add no parking from noon to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday on one side of Dow Street.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So, do board members have any questions for Mr. Gould? Any questions?
No.
Seeing none, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak either in favor or opposed to this application? Would somebody please make a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Federico's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Motion carries 5-0. Selectman Federico.
Madam Chair, if I could, I'd like to make a motion to approve under the town traffic rules and regulations to establish a no parking zone, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday on Dow Street, from Denver Street to the entrance of the teachers' parking lot on the east side.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Federico's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now we have the second one that I'm going to read into the record. Notice is hereby given that the Saugus Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing under the town traffic rules and regulations to change the sign across from the teachers' parking lot on Dow Street from no left turn Monday through Friday, 7:15 to 9 a.m., and 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. to no left turn Monday through Friday, 7:15 to 9 o'clock a.m. This hearing will be held at the Saugus Town Hall Auditorium, second floor auditorium, on April 21st, 2026 at 7:10 p.m. Good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi again. Thanks, Madam Chairman. So this one, the crossing guard actually came up with this solution. We've been looking at this for a while. Where the teachers park, if you come off Denver Street, right to the right is where the parking lot is for the teachers, and if you take that right into the school, the people dropping off and picking up going back to the school, and that's fine because the flow will go back and back towards World Series Park, out to Dow Street, and then to the right, they'll go out that way. But in the afternoon, in pickup, the second and third graders have to be, the parents or guardians have to be seen by their teacher before they'll let them leave the school. So people are parking everywhere. And this change would allow people to park in the teacher's parking lot because there's extra parking spaces, an extra area there. And then the street that goes down to the tennis court, there's extra parking there. But it'll let them exit to Dow Street and take a left and go to Denver and then disperse that way. It was a recommendation of the traffic guide. He's actually been doing it for a while, unbeknownst to me, until I went down and did the site survey, but it works great, and the flow works great in the afternoon. So the only change really is there's a sign that as you come out of where the teacher's parking lot is, there's a sign there that says left turn. Let's see if I can find it here.
This one?
It says left turn 7:15 to 9 a.m., no left turn. Oh, there it is. And all that we want to do is, in 1:30 to 3, all we want to do is take the 1:30 to 3 out for pickup, because drop-off, we still want the same flow to come from Denver Street, around the school, and out to Adams Ave. So it flows well that way. But in the afternoon, we want those parents and teachers, for safety reasons as well, to be able to take a left on Dow and go to Denver. So we just eliminate the 1:30 to 3 p.m. That'd be the only change.
Okay. Do board members have any questions for Mr. Gould? Any questions? Seeing there's no questions for the board, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak either in favor or opposed to this application? Seeing none, what are the wishes of the board?
Madam Chair,
Selectman Chicalini.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Chicalini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Selectman Chicalini.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we vote to change the sign across from the teacher's parking lot on Dow Street at the Belmonte, which currently reads no left turn Monday through Friday, 7:15 to 9 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. We'll change it to no left turn Monday through Friday, 7:15 a.m. to 9 a.m.
And that is seconded by the chair. And in point of discussion, I saw that all 5 members of the school committee voted in favor of this
Yes, ma'am.
change as well. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Chicalini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Good
Thank
night.
you, and you'll go
Thank you
back to
again.
the school committee and tell them we voted on both of these favorably.
Thank you again.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Have a
Gould.
good night,
Thank you,
Dennis.
Dennis.
It's now time for our 4th public hearing of the evening. Notice is hereby given that the Saugus Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing under the town traffic rules and regulations to establish a 2-hour parking on Central Street from Hammersmith Family Restaurant, 330 Central Street, to J&M Italian American Cuisine, 340 Central Street. This hearing will be held at the Saugus Town Hall, 2nd floor auditorium, on April 21st, 2026, at 7:15 p.m. And it came back from Lieutenant Connors. Good morning, Meredith. The chief has no objection to posting the signs. He would like the signs to be a 2-hour parking to keep the signage consistent with what's on the opposite side of Central Street in that area. And FYI, there is a sign posted near Hammersmith on the opposite end of the street. So the police are in favor. Is there anyone here this evening who would like to speak on this change, this traffic change?
Madam Chair,
Selectman Chicalini.
I did have extensive discussions with Mr. Politis and Mr. Ganis. I happened to be in there a couple of times and witnessed what they were talking about, where cars had parked there for the day to go to work or what have you, and there was no, limited parking for patrons and people picking up orders as well. So, I put him in touch. I asked him to contact Meredith I think for that area, it's definitely warranted, given the fact that there's several small businesses and pretty limited parking, and when people take up the parking for the entire day, it really does put a strain on the businesses in there. So, I don't think they knew that necessarily they should be here, but like I said, I had to tell them how to go about the process. I think they just assumed, based on the recommendations, that there was no issues.
Okay. Any other comments from board members?
Madam Chairman.
Selectman Serena?
Yeah, I agree with Selectman Ciccolini. I think it would help the businesses on that side of the street and hurt. So that's a good move.
Oh, I agree as well. Seeing there's no more comments from board members, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak either in favor or opposed to this application? Seeing none, would somebody please make a motion to close the public hearing?
Madam Chair,
Selectman Ciccolini?
I'll make a motion, we close the public hearing.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Ciccolini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Selectman Ciccolini?
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion that we grant the request to establish a 2-hour parking on Central Street from Hammersmith Family Restaurant, 330 Central Street, down to J&M Italian-American Cuisine, 340 Central Street.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Ciccolini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. It is now time for our 5th public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Saugus Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on the request of Anna Ann Olekasenda Zelenko, 65 Summer Street, Manchester, Mass. 01944, for a common victualer's license to Ava Pizza, LLC, 1201 Broadway, Suite F205, Saugus, Mass. 01906, Anthony Anna and Oksenda Zelenko. This public hearing will be held in the Saugus Town Hall Auditorium, 2nd floor, 298 Central Street, on April 21st, 2026, at 7:20 p.m. Good evening. If you wouldn't mind giving us your name and address.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Anna Zelenenko, and my home address is 65 Summer Street, Manchester, Massachusetts,
Would you-
01944.
Could you talk a little bit more into the microphone?
yeah.
Just bring it towards you.
Okay. Like
Perfect.
this?
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
Of course. Yeah. Did you hear me well, or should I repeat?
Repeat it,
Okay.
please.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Anna Zelenenko, and my home address is 65 Summer Street, Manchester by the Sea, 01944. And I'm here for a victualler license, yeah. And so we are taking over Roman Delight Pizzeria, the place at the food court in Square One Mall. So we are going with Joe, Naomi, and working on keeping all the same menu and the same delicious pizza we have. Ava Pizza in Denver's Liberty Tree Mall. So yeah, so we are focused on great quality, great service, and would like to continue our work. Also, we want to be a part of community and serve any way we can. So would appreciate any recommendations we can be a part of this community as well.
Do you sell food? There's no menu here. Do you sell food other than pizza?
So we do pizzas is the main menu. We do pasta, just few items. So it is spaghetti, it is broccoli, chicken Alfredo, and meatballs, lasagna. So yeah, everything stays the same. So the same as Roman Delight had that menu. So we are keeping right now, and we'll see how it goes. If we would like further to do some additions, as we did in Liberty Tree Mall, we added hard ice cream. So it is Richardson's hard ice cream, yes. So we will look at that opportunity too.
And I assume that your hours will follow the mall hours?
Yes, correct.
And when do you anticipate opening?
Sorry?
sorry, when do you anticipate opening? If you get your permitting, when do you anticipate opening?
Yeah, like as soon as we get our permits, yep.
Very good. Do board members have any questions this evening?
Yeah.
Yeah, the recommendations came back fine, the same recommendations we typically get with a life safety walkthrough from the fire department, to follow all the Board of Health rules and regulations.
Sure.
It's the same.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Selectman Federico.
one quick question for
Sure.
the petitioner. You had mentioned this is your second location. You have one currently in Liberty Tree.
Yes.
How long were you there for prior?
So we've been like year and 2 months.
Okay. And before that, was that your first endeavor in the food industry?
It is in the food court, but before my husband, he did a restaurant. It's called Blue Salt in Newton, and we did catering before that restaurant, so we are in the food industry a lot. We're originally from Ukraine. We did a lot of at home, food serving and like delicious cakes and stuff. So yeah, we're over there for a long time.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from board members? Seeing none. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak either in favor or opposed to this application? Seeing none, would somebody please make a motion to close the public hearing?
Madam Chair, so moved.
Selectman Federico.
I'd like to make a motion to approve and.
I'm sorry, wait, you said to close the public hearing.
Oh,
Seconded by the chair.
yeah.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Federico's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Selectman Federico?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a request, motion to approve the request of Anna and Alexandra Zelenko at 65 Summer Street, Manchester, Mass. 01944 for a common vic license to Ava Pizza LLC, 1201 Broadway, Suite F205, Saugus, Mass. 01906. Do I need to mention the Board of Health Compliance and Life Safety? Okay. In just pending the Board of Health Compliance and Life Safety walkthrough.
Thank you. And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Federico's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Good luck.
Congratulations and good luck to you. I'm looking
Thank you
forward to
very much.
trying your pizza.
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
good night.
much.
Madam Chair,
Selectman Ciccolini.
one thing for Meredith, on the convict license, it didn't have to go into the motion because the mall hours are mall hours, but they have specific in here, Friday and Saturday, Monday through Thursday, 11 to 8, and Friday and Saturday, 11 to 9, and then Sunday, 12 to 6. So we should just put that in on the convict.
Moving on. It's time now for our 6th public hearing of the evening. Notice is hereby given that the Saugus Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on the request of Blue Nile Executive Services, Inc., doing business as Blue Nile Livery, 40 Pearson Street, Saugus, Mass., for taxi livery license Ona Nabiyo Mogs. This public hearing will be held at the Saugus Town Hall, second floor auditorium, 298 Central Street, Saugus, Mass., on April 21st, 2026, at 7:25 p.m. Good evening. Can we please have your name and address?
Good evening. My name is Nevi Umogas. The address is 40 Pearson Street, Saugus, Massachusetts.
Thank you. And if you wouldn't mind talking directly into the microphone, that would be wonderful. Thank you very much.
You got it.
And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you would like to do?
Sure. I'm applying for business certificate on an existing business. Blue Nile Livery is a ground transportation company established in 2014. Incorporated, I hold a corporation and certificated by Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and I'm just requesting a permit, a business certificate permit. And my background is, I'm a veteran, and after that, just basically I opened a business. That's
Thank you for your service.
You're very welcome.
Could you tell us what kind of vehicle, because you only get one vehicle, what kind of vehicle are you planning to park there?
To park here in Saugus,
Correct.
just one, the one I drive, which is Cadillac Escalade.
A Cadillac Escalade?
Yes.
Very good. And thank you for your
You're
service.
very welcome. Yep.
Do board members have any questions this evening? Board members?
Madam Chair, it's
Selectman
not even a
Ciccolini.
question. I think our building inspector addressed any concerns that were, may have been raised about other vehicles, and you brought the lease for East Boston and some other.
Sure, yeah, my
but
main operation is in
Yeah.
East Boston. Basically, I bring a vehicle with me just
This will
because
be your
sometimes-
primary vehicle and the only one that will be on the premises?
Yes, just only
Yep.
one vehicle.
That's
But I just want to be clear, sometimes like I might switch a car
Mm-hmm.
because, sometimes one car goes to service, so I
Yeah.
might come back with one, but it's not going to be the same license plate, but it's going to be one on my driveway. Just want to be,
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
fine. Put that on the note.
And that is what our bylaws say,
Yep.
just one vehicle. so-
sure, yeah.
All right, if board members have no more questions, I'm going to open it up to the public. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak either in favor or opposed to this application?
Hello.
Hi, and if you could please give your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, I'm Erica Makut. I live at 56 Pearson. I couldn't quite hear. So this is a renewal of the,
You have to
Sorry.
speak directly into the microphone.
sorry,
Thank
so
you.
this is a renewal of the existing, there is currently a black SUV in the driveway with the livery plate. Is this a renewal or is this an additional plate?
No, this is the first time that he's coming before the Board of Selectmen for one vehicle. It's not going to be an additional vehicle. This is going to be for one vehicle. That's the
But
only.
he's been the business has been established in 2014. So the
Right.
business has been established, but
Sure,
he's-
but there is regularly a car parked in that driveway with a livery plate. So will this be in addition to that?
No, I'm bringing one vehicle to my house.
So,
rest of my vehicles will stay where I operate out of East Boston. I do have an office that I lease.
Sir, I know that she could hear you, but the audience members can't hear you. If you could speak in the microphone. Thank you very much.
Sure, yeah. I do operate out of East Boston, and all the vehicles stays there, and I drive one car, bring it home to park there, just in case if I need to go out, help out my team, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm just looking for clarity. There is currently often one car parked in that driveway with a livery plate. So what I'm trying to understand is, will there be a second car with a livery plate?
No.
one.
Only one car. He's coming to us now for this license.
He's-
But there will not be a second car, only one car.
Our bylaws only allow one car, and that's it. If you see children, call the
Then
police.
call
This-
us.
This is a formality to get the business certificate out of Saugus to actually have a certificate, and it'll have one car assigned.
Can I ask you a question? So it's this car? That is correct. And it will only be that car? I'm cool with that.
Madam Chair,
Selectman Federico.
just for clarification, just to reiterate what the petitioner said, so it will be one car, however, if that vehicle has to go into service and he has another car for the time being, but at any given time, there's only going to be one livery plate in that driveway. But
Okay.
you may see multiple styles or makes of cars.
Yep.
But at any one given time, or any given time, there will be one vehicle.
I'm great with that. I'm worried about traffic and parking and the
Yeah.
blind hill, but if it's just one car, I'm totally in support of that. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Did you want to address the board? Yes, ma'am. Sir? I can't, oh, ma'am. Good evening.
I'm Julia Aston from 26 Pearson. So he's up over the hill and down. And we went by this afternoon, because I don't usually go that way, and I noticed you have about 5 cars in the driveway anyway. So I was concerned about, because I didn't understand, if he's based out of Boston, or why does he want a license at his house? What's the difference? So he can have the livery car there? Or I'm confused.
You need to have a livery license to have a livery car on your site. But he could talk about the 5 cars that are there, because that's
I
not
mean,
my
they
understanding.
look like just regular cars, but there were, yes, but there's a lot of them.
Could you speak into the microphone again, please?
Sure.
All right, the one I have on my driveway is one from my fiance, one from my personal car, and her dad lives with us, and 3 cars, and 1 car that I drive for work. The rest is personal
And they
cars.
all fit in the driveway?
Yes. Yes,
You
sir.
don't, there's no parking on your street?
And they're not livery, they don't have livery license plates on them, just regular,
The,
okay.
the black one is a livery? Yeah.
The black Escalade.
I'm just kind of ignorant about the idea. If he has a license at his company, why does he need a license for his house?
Ma'am, so if he's running a livery business and he
But
gets
it's
a call...
not out of his
Well,
house.
but hang on for a second.
Yep.
So if he's after hours,
Yep.
he's home sitting on his couch and he gets a
Yep.
phone call for a livery. Now he's operating out of Saugus.
Okay.
And that would trigger his requirement to have a livery certificate to work out of his
Okay.
home in Saugus.
And that's why you want a card there? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
the-
thank
the-
you.
These are state laws, not the town.
Yeah.
You know, the state approves these livery plates, not us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. There's somebody else in the back that would like to speak. Hi, if we could please just have your name and address, please.
My name is Rosemary Verterico. I live at 39 Pearson Street, directly across the street. The car has never been on the street. Most of the neighbors do not know that Nebu is in the neighborhood. He takes wonderful care of the house and the car. I'm never woken up with a light in my window. He's that thoughtful. He's a good neighbor. He's been there, it's 10 years?
Since 2017.
10 years. I'm with the neighbors who abut. We know him and his family. And he's a welcome addition to becoming more known in Saugus. We can only win. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to address the board? Yes, sir. There's a gentleman in the back.
My name is Charles McKenna, and I live right next to Mr. Mojes at 38 Pearson Street. He's always been a good neighbor, so I would support him, and I think that his proposal will work out fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we close the public hearing, is there anyone else who'd like to address the board? Seeing none, would somebody... Selectman Cogliano.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Did you want to talk?
Yeah, I just want to clarify everything for the public. These livery plates, the Registry of Motor Vehicle issues these livery plates. This is a state law, and the town just has its own rules and regulations. We only allow one livery plate, because it's like a commercial plate onto a property. If they can't have two, because now you're looking at, if you have more than one, it's a business now, and you can't have a business in a residential piece of property. So that's why they are allowed that one plate, though. I hope that maybe clarifies things for people. Thank you.
Thank you, Selectman Sereno. And Selectman Cogliano made a motion,
Yeah, to close the hearing, Madam Chairman.
and that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Cogliano's motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Selectman Cogliano.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve the request of Blue Nile Executive Services, Inc., doing business as Blue Nile Livery, 40 Pearson Street, Saugus, Mass., for a taxi livery license. Owner Nebu Mose, for one livery plate at that address.
And that's seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of Selectman Cogliano's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Good luck to you.
All right.
And
Thank you
thank
so
you
much
again for
again.
your service.
Have a good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
It is now time for our 7th public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Saugus Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on the request of Zerawa Transportation, 515 Walnut Street, Apartment 1, Saugus, Mass. For a taxi livery license owner, Sukhinda Singh. This public hearing will be held at the Saugus Town Hall, second floor auditorium, 298 Central Street, Saugus, Mass. On April 21st, 2026 at 7:30 p.m. Is the petitioner here? Yes, sir. Could you please come up to the podium and give your name and address, please?
Good evening. So my name is Sukhjinder Singh, and my address is like 515 Walnut Street, apartment number 1. So I started a new business under Zerawa Transportation. So I just applied for the delivery license. So I have my parking, and it's a big parking lot. I don't think it's going to be any problem for anyone. So.
Okay, the recommendations came back and they were fine. What kind of vehicle do you have?
It's a Chevy Suburban.
I'm sorry, one more time?
Chevrolet Suburban.
A Chevy Suburban.
Thank you. Thank you. Do board members have any questions for the applicant?
Madam Chair,
Selectman Chicalini?
I just got one question. So this is a rental property, right? You're renting apartment 1?
No, I own that.
You own, and you rent?
Yeah, the other two is a renting.
Okay.
Yes.
So just to be clear, though, so you know, if we grant this tonight, you won't be able to have any other
Other
issue-
livery.
You won't be able to have any other livery because it's still a residential home?
Sure.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because we had that at our last meeting where they were trying to two at
Yeah.
one house, but one was renting, and it really threw
Yeah,
kind of a monkey wrench.
it's good to know that it's
Yeah.
not going to have that. I didn't know that it's going to like that, but it's going to be just one vehicle.
Okay, and I assume you have personal vehicles as well?
Yes.
And they all fit in your driveway?
Yes.
Very
Yeah,
good.
it can be like fit like about 6-7 cars in that. It's a big lot, parking lot.
You said you have 6 or 7 cars?
Yeah, it can be like residential cars. I have a big parking.
Oh, because you have a multifamily?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
Do board members have any additional questions?
Madam Chairman, just one question. Are you
Sure.
on the corner of Jefferson Ave, or are you the house next door? The two-story home, is that where you're at?
Yes.
Any additional questions?
That's it.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak either in favor or opposed to this application? Okay, I see 3 hands go up. We'll start with this gentleman right here.
I'm a short one. Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is Bob Jackson. I live up the street. I was concerned with any increased traffic. There's going to be one vehicle in that yard.
He's going to have only one livery
One livery
vehicle,
vehicle.
just one.
How many support vehicles will be coming in and out of there?
There should be no support vehicles. So you can answer this question directly for the gentleman. Oh, wait, in the microphone, please.
It's going to be one vehicle, commercial LV, just one.
Okay, yeah, so in the little small building on the...
Back into the microphone, please.
In the little building in the corner?
Everybody wants to hear what you have to say.
Okay. I'm just curious as to whether it's going to be in the part of the 3-decker or the little building next door.
Okay, and can you answer that question, please?
It's going to be in three-story building, like, 3-story house.
It's going to be parked in the
The little
3...
one is I don't own that. The one in the corner, that's not my property.
That's fine, then. My main concern was additional traffic. I mean, you can't get out on Walnut Street now during the rush hour, never mind adding additional, so,
No, Walnut Street is tough.
yes, okay, thank you.
Thank you for your question. And there were a couple of other hands I saw that would like to ask a question. Yes, ma'am.
Patricia Jackson, 10 Jefferson Ave.
I know the livery is one, after watching the last place that you had someone here. What I'm saying is there is no way he's parking 520, whatever, Walnut Street, when his parking is on Jefferson, okay? He put a parking piece of thing that goes out to Jefferson, which makes us going up and down with the vehicles and another one, because he has a 3-family. So where does that all come to? His parking lot that he's now put in, because he comes up a hill to his from Walnut Street, where does that come in to him having something else coming in and out onto Jefferson Ave? Thank you.
Madam Chairman, question
Selectman
for
Cogliano.
Mrs. Jackson. Can he get out the back of his driveway onto Jefferson Ave? If he pulls in his driveway, can he get behind?
Yes.
He can.
Yes, because he put a whole parking pad behind the realtor that's on the corner.
Right.
So it's not just Walnut Street. His parking actually is on Jefferson, besides what he can put up his small driveway to his house. 5, 6 vehicles, because he has residents, and then now we're talking Jefferson. Any morning, night, or noon. That's my comment.
Thank you. Would you like to address that, please?
Sure, I repeat it again, but the Jefferson, that's not my property, so that's not belong to me. The one I have, it's on the Walnut Street, and I have a driveway. It's going straight to the Walnut Street. So
You're not parking on Jefferson Street?
No, it's not connecting with my property, because I have just one, like a in and out way. It's a Walnut Street. It's straight going to the Walnut. Jefferson the property is not belong to me. I know what she's talking about. There's another parking lot. It's kind of like it's another property. It's owned by someone else. It's kind of parking and a realtor. So that's not belong to me.
Madam Chair,
Selectman Chicalini.
I'm just looking at a Google map, and this is coming up Jefferson here. So you want to come approach? So this is Jefferson. And what's this?
Well, actually, this is. Yeah, this is Jefferson.
Yep.
If you,
And you don't own that?
no.
But you own that?
Yeah, that's the one I own, right behind this property.
Yep.
And there's a driveway.
They go up that drive, so you don't use this driveway?
No.
You don't use Jefferson Drive?
That's someone's property.
So,
Wait, I just,
do you see this picture?
yeah, that's what I just did.
Yeah.
You say you don't use that.
Well, there's
There's no
tire
obs-
tracks that go across it.
There's no obstruction stopping
Yeah.
you to drive across the dirt.
Have you driven across that before?
No, I don't.
So where do those parking, those,
No,
that's tire marks going across, like, that's your lot there.
yeah, that's my lot.
And you use your driveway here.
No, that's not driveway.
No,
Driveway,
driveway's to, next to the house, right here.
It's between those buildings.
Yep.
There's one and then one.
Right, so you only drive up that way?
No, it's down there. Do you have the picture? I can show you the background.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when you come off of Walnut Street, you come up here and take a right into your parking.
It's straight going to my property. I don't go any Jefferson.
No, not Jefferson. Over here the Walnut Street runs like this.
Yes.
So you come down Walnut Street and you come up your driveway,
Yes, and yeah.
and then you go into your lot there. You've never gone up in Jefferson?
No,
You don't go in that way?
no, that's not my property. I think it's better understanding.
Yeah.
Pictures,
Well, I went that way too, but
yeah, this is my property. Like it's going straight to my parking lot. That's the way of building those buildings we have. And that's the,
and how many cars are assigned to your house with
there's, right now it's parking 4 cars.
and how many spots do you have?
It's up to, can we fit like 6? If I
Four includes your livery car.
it include everything.
When I asked you earlier, you said 6 or 7.
Because I have a 2 garage also, but we don't use that. So easily we can fit like 4.
Would you feel more comfortable continuing it and doing a site review?
I don't think a site review is gonna help us figure out if he's using Jefferson. He says he's not using Jefferson, they said he's using.
I have a question for
If
you.
I want to use this Jefferson, I have to get on the Walnut Street and then make a right and then make another right to go to the Jefferson.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Would you block this off? This is your driveway coming up here from Walnut,
Yeah.
and it looks like someone's cutting across here and coming out
Right,
Jefferson.
right.
If you would put a fence here to fence in your property, I'd be more apt to vote for your request. But to me, with 6 cars,
Yeah.
it looks like you're cutting through this area and coming out Jefferson. Because someone is.
And not only that,
That's,
Anthony,
this is someone's property, sir.
I understand that. But if you have 6 cars in your driveway,
Like 4 right now, it's 4, right?
4, okay, even 4, you can't go too wide to come out. So someone is cutting across this property, cutting across that, and then
right,
going up Jefferson.
they don't want to go out onto Walnut Street either when
Right.
they're leaving, so it's easy to cut down Jefferson as a cut-through.
Yeah, because Walnut Street's so busy.
Walnut Street's busy, and if you need to get out, somebody's driving. It might not be you, but somebody from your house, one of your tenants is driving across there because you could see the tire marks. So I agree with Selectman Cogliano. If you were willing to put up some type of a guardrail or a barrier that shows that you're not going to go from Jefferson into your house, I would be more apt to support this. But if you leave it open, I have to go by what the residents are saying. If there is, and it looks like there's tire marks, if there is that second means of egress, I think it's going to add to the traffic flow issue in the area.
Would you mind coming back up to the podium, please? Thank
Yeah,
you.
you can put up a guardrail fence right on your property line so they can't cut through.
There was somebody else who wanted to speak in the audience. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name's Ed Ty, 501 Walnut Street. The only question I have is, in your business, how many livery vehicles do you own?
Just 1.
Just one, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And the gentleman back?
Good evening.
Good evening.
So the question that
We have
we
your
had.
name and
Name and
address, please, for the
address.
record,
Oh,
please.
Tony Rosa, number 8 Jefferson.
Thank you.
The question that we have is the lot on the corner of Walnut and Jefferson. Is that lot going to be used to access his livery vehicle?
That's what we're talking about right now.
That's my question
Yeah.
as well.
He's saying no, but
Okay.
we could see tire marks going through, and so I know based on what Selectman Cogliano said, the only way I would support this is if there's some guarantee with a fence inside his property that would prevent him from going out onto Jefferson Street.
I put the drumster right there, like a garbage drum, like you seen that, to block that. So, it shows that my property is behind the garbage drums, like. So
I'll be
always
honest
use
with you, the putting a barrel there is not gonna do it for me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put cemented poles in the ground with a chain, anything.
Even a
I'd-
Jersey
I'd
ba-
I'd
Jersey
prefer to see
barrier?
a fence there, so I know you're not cutting through, because according to that picture, you are.
So where's your property line?
This is right here.
That's your property line. So you would have to put something permanent, not a barrel or a thing. You'd have to put something permanent that shows that you're not going to go out that way and you're only going to go out your driveway. That's the only way we'd be able to support it. You'd have to be willing to do that.
Okay, what? Again, would you mind going back to the podium? So you have a couple of choices here tonight.
Okay.
You can either withdraw without prejudice, and that would mean you could come back. So we won't vote you down tonight. We will just allow you to withdraw. We could take a vote tonight, but based on what you just heard, it probably would not be favorable. Or you could agree to put up a fence, and I think that we would, I think the board would want to see something there before we would grant. If I were you, but you could do what you would like to do, I would probably just withdraw without prejudice. And if you want to put up the fence or some sort of a barrier or cement with something that would make the board feel more comfortable, and it's not really the board, it's the neighbors. We're concerned about the neighborhood. And then we would, I'm going to assume that we would
works in
grant
your
it.
favor too. I mean, if you're blocking off your, you're blocking off your driveway so people from that other property can't impede on your property either.
Madam Chairman,
Selectman Sereno.
my thoughts on it is I'm not going to support this. I would rather continue it, and you put a fence up where we're asking you to put the fence up so they don't cut through. Unless I see a fence there, I'm not supporting it. So I just assume continue this.
Yeah, we could continue it.
We could, absolutely could continue it.
If we
this
continue the hearing tonight, and you want to do the fence, we can continue it. If you say, give me a month, you can come back in a month once the fence is up. And once you bring pictures showing us that the fence is up, or we can send out inspectional services to make sure it's there, then we can take it up in like a month.
The question is that something you're willing to do?
Madam Chair,
Selectman Federico.
just to offer a recommendation, even boulders off a marketplace, somebody getting rid of them for free, just anything to make the land impassable.
Yeah.
So it may not even cost you anything. Some type of immovable object, like I had mentioned, a boulder, concrete block, what have you. You know, to echo Selectman Cogliano and Ciccolini, I would not feel comfortable voting in favor of that until I know for a fact that nobody is traversing that area.
But sir, I think that Selectman Federico made an excellent point. There are all sorts of things that you can get on Facebook Marketplace, different types of barriers that would work for you. So it may not be something that you would have to spend a lot of money on.
Like if you get big stones, like not that you can move, but large enough, and you put those along to show that cars aren't going to go through.
So would the board like to continue this
Yeah, why don't-
then? Okay.
Why don't we continue this for 1 month? And you come back whenever that meeting, 2 meetings from now, whenever that is.
Yeah, so how about the
When I'm away.
first meeting in June?
Yeah, first meeting in June.
And
Will that give you enough time to block that?
okay. Yeah, there are various options that you can choose from, so that should not be cost prohibitive. So this is, though, a public hearing. We were in the midst of public comment, and was there anyone else who wanted to address the board before we make a motion? Okay, so Selectman Ciccolini, would you like to offer motions?
Sure. Based on the petitioner's request, I will request that we continue this hearing until our first meeting in June.
And that is seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Ciccolini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So we'll see you. Meredith will reach out to you directly. She'll tell you exactly where you're going to. You'll be a continued hearing, so you'll be earlier in the evening. And we just need to, if you could let us know, you know, I live right around the corner from you. I could just drive by and see whatever petition that you have up there, okay? All right, thank you.
Have a good night.
Madam Chairman, can I have a 2-minute recess?
Of course you can, and that's seconded by the chair. Discussion, seeing none. All those in favor of a 2-minute recess, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? He already left. Session.
Madam Chair,
Selectman Ciccolini.
I'd like to make a motion that we take appointments out of order and take those up next before the manager's report.
And that's seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Ciccolini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We have Brittany Rubin, who's been in the audience all night, and she's requesting to be appointed to the Saugus Cultural Council. And would you like to come up and say hello? Hi.
Hello, thank you, Madam Chair and board members. As you can tell, my enthusiasm to be a part of the community. I am just thanking you for the request for my appointment to become a member of the Saugus Culture Council and your approval, and I would like to be more active in my community as I really favor living here in the town of Saugus. So if that could be approved, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
That's lovely. Thank you. And we're very excited that you would like to be part of the Cultural Council as well. So it's a 3-year term. So it would go, we're almost at the end, it's a December, so it'd be 12/31/2028. Would somebody like to make a motion, please?
So moved, Madam Chair.
And that's seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Ciccolini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And I see Mr. Gould is...
I didn't even have to say anything. I'm the co-chair of the Saugus Cultural Council, and we voted unanimously to put her on. She's put 300 pictures together for the festival we had.
Wow.
And she's already active, so great addition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Good luck.
Congratulations.
Next item on the agenda is the town manager's report. Mr. Town Manager.
Good evening. Just a couple updates. As everybody's aware, the Charm Center up at the DPW in the back is now open. It opened on Saturday, April 18th. And so what I'm told, as of Saturday, I think we have about 250 people purchase stickers. So pretty popular place to go and great for hard to recycle material. And so I encourage all residents to look into that. It takes all kinds of items, and you can go online and see what they take up there. But with a sticker, it'll give you the whole year, and you can bring yard waste and all kinds of things up there. So we, so far, big turnout. 250 stickers were sold as of the first Saturday that it opened. Also, everyone should be aware, if not, I want to reiterate that the Spring Street sweeping has begun, and this week here, or last week, I think we did precincts 7, 5, 3, 10, and 2. Everything is weather permitting. And then this week, we're into precincts 2, 6, and 8. Next week, April 27th, they'll be going out at precincts 1, 4, and 9. And then week of May 4th, the remaining work not accomplished in the area listed above, they'll circle back or take care of some of those. As the sweeping efforts are based on many variables, including whether the schedule is an estimate and is subject to change, and residents are kindly asked to keep vehicles off the street when sweepers are in the area. Residents may assist the Department of Public Works by sweeping their driveways and sidewalks into the gutter area prior to the program start. Residents are asked not to sweep driveways and/or sidewalks once the sweepers have swept. So anyways, just wanted to remind everybody of that, and then go online and get more information or call up at the DPW. Also, we have curbside leaf pickup that's going to be coming up. It's going to take place during the week of May 4th. Residents may dispose of leaves curbside on their regularly scheduled trash and recycling collection day between Monday, May 4th and Friday, May 8th. Leaves should be left outside at the curb by 7 a.m. on the appropriate days. Please ensure the leaf containers are physically separated from trash and recycling. Again, if anybody needs any information, they can take a look online, but leaf collection, again, will be May 4th through May 8th. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Do board members have any questions for the Town Manager this evening?
Madam Chairman,
Selectman Cogliano.
I know, I want to thank you for putting out the statement regarding the water bills last time, Mr. Manager, but you weren't present. Where do we stand with that? Any new developments?
So what I'm told is that we're working, the office is working through anybody that has any issues or complaints, and they're going through those systematically, while we're, going to do an overhaul of taking a look at of a whole bunch of things with the system, and to make sure that we ensure that things are running correctly. But in the meantime, if somebody has an issue, that we encourage them to, or if they think they do, to file an abatement, paper abatement, and it's been taken a look at. But I know they're systematically going through the people that have come down, and I know that there's been a range of different outcomes with those. But they'll continue to do what they can to serve and help the residents understand their bill. I think that there's like I said, a range of different people that are coming there at the Treasurer Collector's Office, and I think they're doing a good job of trying to service and answer questions. But they'll continue to do that, and we'll get a bigger picture down the road. I think from a 30,000-foot, look at it and see if there's anything that's irregular or isn't working correctly with the transition with the new meters. But and anybody that has has had an issue, they don't pay interest on that, if there's an abatement involved. So, that's not a non-issue.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for the Town Manager? Seeing none, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. We have the April 8th, 2026 minutes. Somebody please make a motion to approve.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Seconded by the chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Selectman Chicalini's motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. It is now time for our second citizens' comments of the evening. Mark Vogel, would you like to say a few words? Moving on to members' motions. If we could start with you, Selectman Serino, please.
Oh, I didn't hear you, Madam Chairman. Yeah, thank you. I know there's been some discussion about the lithium battery parks. I've been doing some research, and I watched the Revere City Council meeting. And this is the state exempt these battery parks from town zoning. They're similar to the 40B housing, the Dover Amendment. And I guess Massachusetts passed a policy by 2030. They want to have 5,000 megawatts total of these electric storage capacity facilities. There's been issues on them about fire department being able to handle if one of these battery places burnt down. And they said gasoline burns at 1,500 degrees. Lithium batteries burn at 5,000 degrees. That's the space capsule coming in a couple of weeks ago through the Earth's atmosphere experienced that. So these can be very dangerous. There are issues about how close they are to schools, residential neighborhoods, hospitals. There's going to be power lines, high tension, high velocity power lines going overhead to this park. So I did some research and I looked at there's been 129 battery parks approved by the state in Massachusetts. Wakefield has a 5 megawatt plant. Middleton has a 3 megawatt plant. UMass Boston has a 1 megawatt plant. Beverly has a 2 megawatt plant. Barnstable has a 25 megawatt plant. Carver, Massachusetts has a 150 megawatt plant. Oakham, that's over by the Quabbin Reservoir, has a 180 megawatt plant. Medway has a 250 watt plant. Everett and Chelsea and Revere on the Saugus line are proposing a 700 megawatt plant. Over Oakham by the Quabbin Reservoir, their 180 megawatt plant will have 300 batteries. The Saugus Revere project will have close to 1,200 batteries. Communities have no protection on these large-scale battery parks. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a good idea to have the battery parks. Prevents us from using fossil fuels. It helps save energy costs, so I'm in favor of that. However, I think these large-scale plants of 700 megawatts should be restricted somehow, whether there are setbacks from schools, hospitals, at least, I would say probably 500 to 1,000 feet. I know Michelle Kelly, the city council person in Revere, when I watched the meeting, she said parts of Revere residents are going to be 300 feet away, and she even believed that wasn't enough. I'm curious, I want to see what the board thinks. There's nothing we can do about it, but the state legislator, they can. And I was wondering if the board was interested in sending a letter to the state delegation, the Speaker of the House and the Senate, to propose that these high velocity, high megawatt plants requires the setbacks from schools, hospitals, and residential areas. I didn't know how the board felt. I would be willing to draft a letter up and have it. I'll send it to you, Deb, and you can see if the board wants to make any changes or support it. And that's my suggestion. I don't know how board members feel, but that's the only way we're going to be able to do anything to protect the residential neighborhoods.
I would support a letter. How do board members feel?
I have no problem with that.
Okay, I think that the board feels comfortable doing that.
Okay, I'll draft something up. I'll send it to you. You can look at it, send it to the members, and see what they say. If they want to make changes in it or whatever.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
And then finally, the Little League Parade. What a turnout. We have more kids involved this year than I think ever. We had a great time marching with my fellow board members. And then finally, I want to thank all the volunteers at the Senior Center. I was able to get to the appreciation dinner they had last Thursday. And I think they had about at least 70 volunteers that volunteer at the Senior Center no matter what they do. That's quite an amount of people. And like I told them, no matter where I go in any community talking to people, they always comment how great our Senior Center is compared to theirs. So I want to congratulate everybody and thank them for all their work. And that's all I have, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Selectman Sereno. Selectman Federico.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to touch on what Selectman Sereno said in regards to the batteries, I too have been doing quite a bit of research. I think it's way too early. I think we're just to come to any conclusions. I think we're just scratching the surface on the amount of information. I have received the host community agreement from Chelsea as well as the special permits, and I'm currently studying that right now to see what actions they took. I know their location's going right on the water, and from my understanding from the officials I've spoken to in Chelsea, a lot of the funds that they're receiving are going towards protections for the community, such as training for the fire department, new hydrants, new apparatuses to deal with that. So I think where this is so new, it's just one of those things that we're going to have to get quite a bit of information, and some of the information out there is already outdated and obsolete. With newer batteries, Captain O'Hara of the Revere Fire Department actually mentioned at the meeting that I attended that the new technology limits the risk, or reduces the risk rather, of battery fires somewhere, or battery incidents, I think is the way he phrased it, somewhere to 98%. So I, for one, think that, I definitely support the letter. I think that would be a good, viable option for us, but I would hope that we go forward looking at this with, an open mind and see if it's right for Saugus. I know the host community agreement will be the first line of defense for our residents if one does come to our town. In addition, I just wanted to mention that I attended the Golden Hills cleanup this week, which was an absolute phenomenal showing with residents. I'd like to thank Leo Gets a Junkster. He brought a couple trucks down there. We filled up multiple bags, one just of plastic bottles, another one with, 14, 15 tires that we pulled out, that Selectman Cogliano went fishing for out of a small water ravine there. So I just want to give kudos to the Golden Hills cleanup effort that occurred this weekend, and I think you're going to touch on another one this weekend, if I understood correctly, or?
Oh, there's
multiples, right?
There's multiple. Want me to?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll quickly piggyback. So we have the next cleanup is Saturday, April 25th, and volunteers will be getting together to do some cleanup work around the Oaklandville School starting 8 o'clock. Ashley Panzini reached out to some of the board members right before this meeting. There's going to be another cleanup on April 26th, which is the Sunday, starting at 10 o'clock, where people are meeting at Stagpole Field near the goalpost gate on Appleton Street. That's the Precinct 1 cleanup. May 2nd is the Precinct 5 cleanup. They're meeting at 8 a.m. at the Lyndhurst School. So kudos, shout out to all of the precinct members that are out there, and they're coordinating all of these cleanups. I think it really shows a wonderful sense of community here in Saugus.
Madam Chair?
Yes, of course.
One
Selectman.
thing just to remind the community, Mr. Manager reminded me earlier today, we chatting unrelated. The town hall will provide supplies for the cleanups as well.
Yeah, so-
I know
yeah, so-
Youngsters,
yeah.
Youngsters
Yeah.
agreed to take away trash and stuff, which is great. Leo's a phenomenal asset to the community, but we can supply, bags and gloves and
Yeah,
rakes and
whatever you
stuff.
need. We have other precinct members that have already reached out, but there's been, I've been here 15 years. We've always helped sponsor, and in some years are more active than others. This is really the last couple of years, I think, pretty active with the cleanup. And
I wish I did that. I knew that before I placed my Amazon order.
Oh, there you go. But we'll provide
I'll
anything,
submit it for
everything,
reimbursement.
everybody needs, and where to put the bags so that we can pick them up and grab them, as well as supplying anything, gloves or bags, whatever they need. That's what we've done over the years.
So the ones that are being held over this weekend, do you have stuff that people could we reach out to?
Someone just has to coordinate it. Usually, like, remember Lana used to coordinate it all the time, but you can contact my office. We'll coordinate. We've already coordinated with, I don't know if one of those, but there's a group we've already coordinated with town meeting members to provide some of the supplies.
So Mark Bell is coordinating the one on Sunday, for
So
example.
I think
for Precinct 1.
I think we've connected with them.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
And Madam Chair, one more thing for
Of course.
the manager. Just outside the auditorium, there's a plaque, Citizen of the Year, and I just happened to notice today it was brought to my attention that it was last updated in 2023. Would we be able to update it with the last two Citizens of the Year, just out of respect to them?
Sure. I think that the organization generally puts the plaques together, but we
okay.
can try to find out, and then we just put them up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All set? Thank you. Selectman Ciccolini.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In recognition of time, short and sweet, Mr. Manager, thank you, and mostly, it's all the DPW, but the Forestry Department took care of a couple of dead tree issues, as well as the department that is taking care of that sidewalk paving issue. There was a potential hazard, so I appreciate them going down and taking care of that stuff real quick, as usual. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Selectman Ciccolini. Selectman Vice Chair Cogliano.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Just a thank you to Greg Stefano and Pat Roach and the crew of Stefano's Landscaping. They reinstalled the bricks that took a toll over the winter at Veterans Park and donated their services they're a great supporter of the veterans. I just want to give them a shout out from the board for that. Appreciate it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Selectman Cogliano. Just a few things. The Student Government Day is a week from Friday, May 1st. I sent the board a copy of the mock selectment meeting to review. Should be a fun day. May 4th starts the annual town meeting at 7:30 in Town Hall Auditorium. I want to thank the Revere City Councilors for allowing Saugus officials to speak on the proposed lithium battery park. Per our last meeting, I sent the letter to the mayor and councilors in Revere outlining the board's concerns. I followed up over the weekend to ensure they received the letter to stress the safety issues that our board and the Saugus residents had. I want to thank Selectman Vice Chair Cogliano and Federico for attending that meeting and speaking on the board's behalf. And I want to also thank the board for reviewing the letter. Thank you for your ad, Selectman Ciccolini. It's important that we all work together. You could see that the whole board is very passionate, and thank you, Selectman Serino, for that suggestion of writing a letter. So I think that's an excellent suggestion.
You know why I did, Madam Chairman, was because that battery park's only going to be 20 feet away from the town property line. That's Eustace Street.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when I watched the meeting, the city council meeting, Lieutenant O'Hara said the best way, if these things ever caught on fire, the best way to put it out is just to let it burn out. And that was kind of scared me. I said, wow. But thank you very much for your words.
Thank you.
Yep.
I want to thank all the Saugus Senior Center volunteers, and our next meeting is May 5th. With that said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn, and I think I already have it. That's seconded by the chair. All those in favor of Selectman Cogliano's motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Hope everybody has a wonderful evening.
Good night, everybody.
Good evening.